السلام عليكم ورحمة الله، كيف حالكم يا حلوين؟ إن شاء الله بخير. رجعنا لكم شباب فيديو جديد من Ark Ascended. اليوم عندنا فيديو مميز وخفيف لطيف، وجتني الفكرة يا شباب إني أزين هذا الفيديو خصوصا لأنه باقي تقريبا أسبوع على نزول الخريطة الجديدة لArk Ascended. طبعا الخريطة الجديدة هي Lost Colony أو ما تعرف بالاسم العلمي لهيلينا اللي هي آرات برايم. طبعا الخريطة هذه كان حتما لازم إنها تنزل لتسد الثغرة اللي كانت موجودة بين اكستنشن وجينيسيس 1 من ناحية القصة. طبعا فيديو اليوم فكرته ايش؟ فيديو اليوم اننا نتعمق بالقصة لكن من منظور اخر. لازم نعرف هذه القصة من منظور العم بوب. من هو العم بوب؟ العم بوب هذا يا شباب تعرفنا عليه من اضافة ارك بوب تول تيلز. هذه اضافة مدفوعة في ارك اسندد، تقريبا سعرها $30، وجتنا على شكل 3 أجزاء أو 3 حلقات. الحلقة الأولى مع خريطة الصحراء، والخريطة الثانية مع خريطة آبريشن، الحلقة الثالثة مع خريطة اكستنشن. طبعا وش قدمت لنا هذه الدي ال سي أو الإضافة؟ قدمت لنا أشياء كثير، أشياء مساعدة للاعب من ناحية اللي هي التزاوج اللي هي الجينات، من ناحية البحث عن الديناصورات اللي هو الجين سكانر، من ناحية الديناصورات البطلة مثل الأويسيسور الضخم والعنكبوت في آبريشن، والأرماداغو اللي هو الكلب عزكم الله في اكستنشن. وأيضا أضافت مركبات من ناحية المركبات الجديدة من ناحية القطار في خريطة الصحراء، وأيضا عندنا الزبلن في آبريشن والباتل ريج في اكستنشن. وايضا يا جميلين لا انسى اللي هو السرفايفل ميت، الرجل الآلي اللي يساعد اللاعبين، لكن الصراحة هو يقلتش اكثر منه يساعدك في سيرفرات الاوفيشال. طبعا اللي يميز هذه الاضافة وش فرقها عن المودات في ارك اسندد، الاضافة هذه الدي ال سي تضيف اشياء على الجيم الاساسي. يعني اذا دخلت سيرفرات الاوفيشال تحصل هذه الاضافة موجودة، جميع الادوات، جميع المباني اللي فيها، جميع السيارات او المركبات، كل شيء يعني مضاف على اللعبة الأساسية. يختلف عن المودات. المودات ما تقدر تستخدمها إلا سنجل بلاير ولا سيرفر خاص، لكن هذه إضافة على اللعبة الأساسية وراح تكون متواجدة بسيرفرات الأوفيشال. ومن الأشياء اللي أضافتها هذه الإضافة، خلونا ندخل في صلب الموضوع، هو قصص العم بوب. العم بوب هذا ناجي، يعني أبيكم تتخيلون إنه ناجي مثل يعني واحد مننا يلعب اللعبة ونجا في هذه الخرائط، ويقص قصته كيف نجا ومنهم الشخصيات الأساسية باللعبة وش هدفهم الشخصيات الأساسية وش صار عليهم. طبعا يا حلوين القصة اللي جبتها لكم عبارة عن ملاحظات كتبها العم بوب في داخل اللعبة، يعني ملاحظات موزعة داخل اللعبة. كل خريطة من الثلاث اللي ذكرتها مسبقا فيها 10 ملاحظات، والعشر ملاحظات هذه إذا فتحتها تعطيك مقطع قصير يحكي لك قصة عن وش اللي صار في اللي هي عالم آرك. وأيضا زيادة على ذلك إذا جمعت ال10 ملاحظات في الخريطة راح يزود ليفل اللاعب حقك للبونس 5 هلفال، وأيضا إذا جمعتها كلها راح توصل لزيادة 15 ليفل. فتخيلوا ملاحظات البوب تيل الآن أو ملاحظات العم بوب رفعت ليفل اللاعب الماكس حقه من 180 إلى 195. أتوقع كذا خلاص واضح الوضع. أنا وش سويت؟ اللي سويته يا شباب إني جمعت هذه الملاحظات كلها وسويت منها فيلم وترجمتها لعيونكم للغة العربية ترجمة احترافية يدوية بواسطتي أنا. كل اللي يبي منك حلو لايك يا جميل واشتراك إذا جديد، ويلا بسم الله نبدأ.
You know, kid, sooner or later, you're gonna have to talk about it. What are you drawing over there, anyway? Hey, that's not bad. And this is you over here, with this dum-dum?
Don't be mean to Honker.
برسول هذا يا شباب.
I don't want to talk about him.
He's your dad, Mika. Now, I may not know a lot, and I made plenty of my own mistakes back in my day, but I do know one thing. Families gotta stick together.
حكيم العم بوب.
You go tell him not to be such a stinky dino poo.
That's just not how it works, Mika. Look,
أفا
maybe old
زلالة
Uncle
بنبوة.
Bob here can shed some light on the situation about why the big man thinks the way he does.
Wait, you knew my dad before all this? So, were you also on the... what did he call them? The Arks?
Yeah, those. Say, have I ever told you the story about how Dad and I saved everyone together?
You were there?
حلو.
You were one of the heroes?
Well, yeah, sure. In fact, you might say that I was the most important part of the whole story.
كذاب.
Okay.
Go ask Santiago yourself if you don't believe
No!
me.
I want you to tell me, Uncle Bob.
All right then. Let's start at the very beginning. On a faraway tropical island surrounded by
خريطة
sparkling
الجزيرة.
water. That island was the first time I ever saw big dumb lizards like Honker here. And it was the first place I ran into her. So there I was, whizzing through the sky, when this sparkly lady flies right up alongside me, and she tells me, "Bob, you're the greatest guy ever. You have to stay alive so you can save everyone."
How are you supposed to save a whole world all by yourself?
قلب سليم.
Well, now, I did have a little help from my friends. Little Miss Professor here, and the doc there. But maybe that's a story for another time. I mean, you gotta have some chores to get back to, right?
I already did them, I swear.
Great. Guess I'll just,
حاول
keep
أصرفها.
retelling these true tales about Bob's amazing adventures.
Yeah! So, after that island, where did you go next? Oh, I bet it was somewhere exciting.
Before we keep going, I was thinking maybe you want to let your dad know where you ran off to?
I don't want to think about him at all. I want to hear more stories. Uncle Bob.
Okay. How about a story with spurs and six shooters and all that?
Yeah, that sounds wild.
Darling, you don't know the half of it, but whatever the danger, Bob still managed to show the wild and woolly wastelands who was boss.
Whoa, now we're talking.
راح على العم بوب.
Place was hotter than heck, and all that dang dust had a way of working its way up your, nose. Point is, I was gonna have to get lean and mean if I was fixing to tame anything in that forsaken desert. Where was I? Oh yeah, suddenly I found myself smack in the middle of this scorching hot desert. No time to worry over how I ended up there or why. All I knew was I had to run for cover.
Wasn't it too hot to be running around?
Am I telling the story or are you?
عصب عالية.
Keep
قاطعة.
going.
Anyway, yeah, it was too hot to run around like that,
أصلاً.
and I burnt myself out quick. I knew I was a goner, unless I could scrounge up something to drink, and pronto. Now, before you judge me on this next part, you've got to understand it was a life or death situation. Because when I thought I saw a big whiskey jug sloshing around on 6 legs, I sort of lost what was left of my pride. And well, there's no good way to say this. Took a drink from it.
Ew, gross.
Made that jug bug jump a mile. Not that I blame it. Who'd have guessed something that big could even fly anyway? At least I knew where to find water now. After I had my fill of drinking from bug behinds, I decided to try for one of the camel lizards I saw waddling around that sand pit.
ورا
It's
التوبس.
probably an easier way to break the dumb beast than smacking him upside the head and force feeding him. But that's what worked for me back on the island. Anyways, I guess I finally hit one in its noggin enough time for it to think we were pals.
Aww.
Reckon I'll spare you knowing how I figured out a way of drinking from those smelly humps.
Ugh, nasty.
Without warning, a sandstorm kicked up. I'm talking howling wind. Lightning had me going in circles, trying like heck to find a place to hide. Thought I was done for when Humpty dropped dead on me. Till I
أوه
spotted a
مات.
cave that looked like the promised land.
Poor Humpty.
أنت المسكين.
Tripped over a bunch of eggs lying around inside and thought I'd hit the jackpot.
أوه بيض بويزن.
And that's when Mama, an honest to gosh,
أبي خوفهم بيض مقلي.
No.
she was none too happy about me scrambling up her babies.
Bet you barely got out of that one without becoming her breakfast. No scrambled Bob on the menu that day.
Right about when I'd almost given up hope, I spotted little Miss Professor again. Somehow she'd wound up in that dust patch with me, which probably meant that the doc was around someplace too.
Bet she was glad to see you.
Of course, yeah. But now I had someone else to look after, which can be, you know, exhausting. But before I could come up with a plan to save us, this crazy desert witch showed up with a dragon. That dragon witch sure seemed glad I came along when I did. Turned out her town needed a new sheriff, on account of the giant bugs that kept attacking the place.
What's a sheriff?
Someone who'd protect regular townsfolk, whether it was from rustlers, bandits, or, in this case, bug monsters. I didn't have much of a choice, so I let the witch pin a star on me and set me up with a trusty six-shooter. Now that I was the law in that forsaken outpost, I could see I was gonna have to do a bit of pest control. So I called out the biggest bug and told them they'd best skedaddle before sundown, lest I commenced stepping on them. Now that I had the whole gang's attention, I backed up a few paces. I told the gang leader to slap leather.
To do what?
The figure of speech, darling, means we're about to have us a good old-fashioned shootout. The big bug bandit reached for his pistol, but I had the quicker draw. A couple of his compadres tried to take revenge. Wasn't much of a fair fight. None of them so much as got a beat on me before I dropped all four of them in the dust with their pal. The rest of them scampered off. So I yelled to the ladies that it was safe to come out. And that's when old Doc Rockwell showed up again. After I stopped the bugs from ransacking that whistle stop, I guess I thought maybe I'd found a place worth building up into something. That's when the witch piped up to tell us why it wasn't worth getting attached to no place there.
Oh no, why?
Said she and her friends had a regular boom town going across the desert that got blown to heck by something in the sky. She offered to fly us to see the ruins for ourselves. Not sure why I let the professor and the doc talk me into that. After seeing them ruins up close for myself, we decided it probably was time for us to mosey along. We were saying our goodbyes when that thing dropped in. The witch called it a Manticore, or maybe a Manticlops. Anyway, whatever you want to call it. It caused a real ruckus. I like to think we made it sorry for messing with us. But I must have been knocked upside the head during our tussle, because I don't remember the next part so good. Somehow, I was tumbling through the sky again, heading elsewhere in a hurry. So, that's how I went from squeezing water from a cactus to fighting a Mandy Whatsit in a ghost town.
Wicked.
Just goes to show, you gotta stay ready for the unexpected. And you always need to stick by the folks who have your back.
Didn't you say you tamed the wastes all by your lonesome?
Well, I had some help.
Oh yeah. You still haven't told me where you met, you know, him.
Santiago.
Wouldn't you rather hear that story from the big guy himself?
No way! Unlike you, he's got no sense of humor.
You just sit tight while your Uncle Bob thinks about how to tell this next part without giving nightmares.
But I like scary stories.
Hey, no, I was talking about it giving me nightmares. See, this is the point in our story where things get dark. Real dark.
هذا النقطة الحاسمة بالقصة.
Maybe it's a good thing. You drawing all the crazy mischief I got up to in the old days. Might help me remember things better. Next time some kid starts hanging around me like a bad smell, pestering me for my dumb tales.
I'm just visiting with Honker here.
Fine by me.
But you did say you had a really scary story next. About the place where you met, you know, him.
Yeah. Well, your old man's gonna come looking for me. He finds out I gave you bad dreams.
Like he'd even notice how I
يخاف
feel.
من أبوه.
Well, no need for my name to even come up, is all I'm saying.
Quit stalling.
Okay. How about we call this one Journey to the Center of the Broken Ark?
As long as it's the scary version.
Careful what you wish for. Things got weird and dark down there. Especially for poor Doc Rockwell.
انا اشهد انه ضعيف بدك
What did
تفضل.
he do? That was so bad.
The guy got a little too curious for his own good. Messed around with some mumbo-jumbo he shouldn't have. He wouldn't listen to anyone that tried to warn him either.
Well, I'm listening to you, and I want to know all about it.
فينا
Felt
فضول.
what seemed like forever. Turned out that pit had a bottom after all.
Whoa. Were you guys scared?
At first, things were more weird than scary down there. Like something out of the funny pages. Little Miss Professor and the Doc couldn't get enough of it all. Doc Rockwell, in particular, kept wandering deeper and deeper in where I couldn't keep an eye on him. Anyways, before I could round up those two eggheads, the whole place started spinning and shaking itself to pieces. Like we were on the world's biggest tilt-a-whirl.
No fair. You just got there.
Funny thing, all that shaking left a bunch of stuff lying around. But I could see
عطاهم
gonna come
موارد.
in handy.
Huh. Lucky you.
الزلزال.
Well, with nothing much down there but rocks and fungus, we were gonna need some luck.
Ugh, gross. Mushrooms.
Not a fan myself, but Doc Rockwell said, gonna need to adapt to survive.
غش
Not
الركول.
sure why I ever listened to that old kook. Suddenly felt like I was on the sauce again, except worse.
نسجل
lot
ملاحظات
worse.
الركول الوسخ.
Those red spotty shrooms were bad news, but some of the others turned out to be okay. We just had to see what the local wildlife would eat.
Well, then I guess I would have starved. No mushrooms for me.
Be glad you get to be picky, kid. That means you're well fed. In fact, you'd be surprised what you're willing to eat when you're starving for real. Just like chicken.
Poor Bulby.
So I had things mostly under control before that scary dame showed me up in her fancy armor.
Ooh, who is she?
Someone from back on that jungle island. The Beast Queen, she called herself. Little Miss Professor was making a big deal about her still being alive.
But where did she get the armor?
عليها
Turned
بدلة
out
تك.
our Beast Queen had a whole squad of roughnecks from the future backing her up.
Whoa.
So yeah, there were people from the future on that ark.
My future?
No. I mean, the future to me. But what do I know? I'm just some grunt who bought the big one in 1944. Anyway, you'll never guess who was in charge of their outfit.
My dad.
سانتياغو.
Yeah, that's where old Santiago and I met for the very first
Hello.
time. I introduced him to my pals. Not that Doc even noticed. He was too busy gawking at all the shiny toys those future people had brought to the camp.
I will be too.
Sure you would. That's the problem. So at first, I guess your old man was having trouble puzzling out the crazy super science running the arcs. Santiago said the ark's tech was from further into the future than his own time, but he still thought he could get it to work for us.
I guess Dad didn't have any rules against using tech back then.
Not so sure about that. His people had to rush underground after your dad messed up on the first try and cooked everything topside.
سانتياغو
Whole surface
الفجر
of the ark
اوبريشن.
went up in flames. Santiago wanted another crack at it and asked if we wanted in. I couldn't exactly say no. Not in front of the ladies. Gotta keep up my reputation and all.
I want to hear more about the girls in Dad's camp. Back on that ark.
Oh yeah?
انتبهوا للسؤال ذا.
Let's see. I told you about little Miss Professor Helena and the Beast Queen. Those two seemed real close until this pilot from the future showed up, Diana. And suddenly Helena was the odd one out.
Really? Huh.
Then again, after we all got to know each other better, there was something between Diana and Santiago, too.
Oh.
Almost like they'd known each other before. Probably more of that future gobbledygook that gives me a headache. Still, Diana decided to hang back at the camp, while the other two ladies and me went along on Santiago's crazy mission. Don't think Diana trusted old Doc Rockwell. He'd been acting extra squirrely by then, and she seemed worried that he'd gone completely off his nut. Good instincts, hers.
Good instincts.
We had our marching orders. But before Santiago took us topside, we had to suit ourselves up in that shiny future armor of theirs. Supposedly radiation from space would have cooked us otherwise. Didn't much like the sound of that. I never did tan that well. Even armored up, we had to wait until things cooled down after dark before we could follow your dad outside. Things didn't go exactly as planned, but we did manage to get into a big, creepy lab with tanks full of sleeping animals, and people were stored there too. We covered your dad while he did his thing, but before we had a chance to celebrate, we got a message that something bad went down back at camp.
Oh no. Was Diana okay?
Your dad did something that, beamed us straight back to camp, but we were still too late to save Diana.
What? What happened?
Turned out she was right not to trust Doc Rockwell. He found some goop deep down in the caves. He used it to change himself into something straight out of a creature feature.
Rockwell killed her?
Yup. And scampered off somewhere down in the dark.
قتل ديانا.
He was. Because he knew we weren't gonna let him get away with what he'd done.
العم بوب.
We could barely keep up with the Beast Queen. She really took it hard what Rockwell did to her good friend.
But you found him, right?
What was left of the poor guy. And then put that twisted freak out of his misery. And ours. We were sure glad we'd never have to deal with him again. So it was all over by the time your dad caught up with us. To say he'd rigged a way for us to leave that Ark behind for Earth. Believe you me, spoke for all of us when he said he wanted to forget all about the place. Especially that creepy cargo hold we found, full of clones. Wasn't great finding out for sure we weren't the original Bob or Santiago. How many times have we died and been brought back already? Just thinking about it gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Back. So, we're all just clowns?
Clones. Copies of our original selves, but with our memories and, I don't know, maybe our souls too. Who knows? It's all way beyond this GI's pay grade.
Copies of our souls?
Mika, listen, kid. These are just dumb stories. I don't know the half of what actually went on down there.
No, that part was true. I can tell. If we are clones, if we all died, and Tech brought us back, then we could use it to bring back other lost people, right? Yeah!
طبعا هي تقصد شخص ما ودي احرق عليكم تعرفون منهم.
Hey now, the doc wanted to bring someone back with that stuff. Didn't work out so good for him, did it?
You said Rockwell was from the wrong time to even know how to use tech. But my dad...
Your dad was from the right time. But he and I saw up close how that crap wrecked the whole damn world.
Language?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Anyhow, that story can wait. Right now, you need to find something for your pal Honker here to eat.
Okay...
Atta girl. Because this next bit, Well, it's filled with some tough memories for old Bob.
مسكين.
Ah, there you are. Was wondering where you two got off to.
Yeah.
Well, don't you want to hear about how me and your old man saved the world? The first world, I mean. Earth? Santiago's told you about Earth, right?
Yeah, but Dad's not like he was in your stories, okay? Now he's just this mean guy who
Like
lies
Solomon.
to everyone and keeps stuff from us.
Look, kid, being chief's all about making hard choices. I know I'd never want that job.
You'd make better choices, and you wouldn't destroy what everyone wants.
Everyone?
Okay, what I wanted.
Listen, I get that you're mad at him now, but Santiago was there for your Uncle Bob when it counted. Take it from a guy who's been in his fair share of firefights. Having someone who's got your back is worth all the aggravation. Well, there's some folks who never find their people. It ain't easy trying to survive out there all by your lonesome.
أنا أشهد.
I guess.
Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. So it survived everything else, just to wind up in a high-octane chrome knuckle junkyard dogfight over the last scraps on Earth.
Okay, yeah!
ستيفن.
After all we'd gone through to get back to Earth, it was a real kick in the gut to see how dead the place was. I hadn't been there since WW2, but we were seeing what was left after the final war.
Oh.
We got there too late to save anybody. Everything was in ruins, and there was no one around but ghosts.
Ooh, that's awful. So what did you do?
At that point, not much else left to do, except dig in and try and start over. But at least we wouldn't have to do that from scratch. See, the people around at the end left a lot of salvageable junk behind for us. And like they say, one man's trash.
Is another person's trash?
Now that we had set
أنا
up base
خطأي
camp,
طبعا.
our little tribe of misfits realized we were gonna need a chief. Naturally, everyone turned to me first, but I nipped that idea in the bud real quick. I told them thanks, but no thanks.
I still think you'd be great at it.
Thanks, doll. But honestly, I just didn't want the headaches that come with that job. Had enough responsibility in the army back in my day.
الحقيقة إنه مسؤولية.
No one else seemed to want it either. Maybe that's why they held the boat while your dad was chopping logs. Once your dad was head honcho, he decided to put everyone to work, scrounging the ruins for scrap.
يكرفهم.
Gave us a whole shopping list of stuff to find for him. Said he wanted to build a faster way to get around. We weren't sure yet how safe we were, even inside the city walls, or what was left of him. So, he sent us out in twos. I got paired up with the Beast Queen, who wasn't much fun to be around after we lost Diana. And I'm sure she wasn't happy getting stuck with me either. After scavenging a while, we found a fountain that was still working somehow. And I said, maybe we should name the park around it for her pilot.
معروف ذي النافورة بإكستنشن.
That didn't exactly cheer her up, though I think she liked having somewhere to lay flowers and remember her good buddy.
I like that too.
Around that time, your old man took me with him on a scouting mission into the city ruins. We hiked up ramp after ramp until it must have been halfway to the sky. From up there, we could make out broken domes across the wasteland, with floating towers just like the ones on the Arks. While we were watching, there was this loud noise and something came crashing down out in the wastes. I could see the gears turning in Santiago's head before he finally spoke up. That slowed down before it landed. Supply drop, maybe. Let's ride out and take it.
Not bad, but he sounds a little meaner. Or a lot meaner.
يطقطقون على فين ديزل.
Yeah, well, just be glad you're not gonna hear my Helena. Aussies with their funny accents. And don't even get me started on those Kiwis. Sheesh. Wasn't long before your dad had a whole machine shop up and running where he could start putting together his new toys. For a guy who keeps ending up in charge of people, I swear, Santiago was always happiest with a welding torch in his hands.
Guess I've never seen him happy then.
Oh, no. Look, kid, I didn't mean that.
So, what was Dad building with all that scrap you salvaged?
All-terrain vehicles, he called them.
البثوث.
Low-slung four-wheelers built for speed and war. So your dad and me left the city walls and set out across the wastes to see what had been falling out of the sky. Those jumped-up go-karts of his could really move. I mean, I was hanging on for dear life, while Santiago laughed his butt off. Luckily, it was him behind the wheel, though, because one of those supply drops came crashing down, smack right in front of us.
Yikes.
When we tried prying the thing open, it trapped us inside some kind of force field, along with a bunch of crazy local wildlife.
There were still animals left alive?
If you could call that living. Poor critters were all messed up from the poisons out in the wastes, and they didn't much appreciate us. Wasn't easy, but Santiago and I eventually managed to fight our way through that whole pack of freaks and open up the supply drop. Inside was enough of that tech stuff to make your dad grin like he'd hit the jackpot. We crammed all we could fit into the trunk.
Are you sure that was my dad with you?
Yeah, it was him all right. And he
No, but
said
I
we're
saw
all gonna
that.
be okay, as long as those tech supplies keep crashing to Earth.
Yeah, like I said, doesn't sound like him.
لا يبدو انه هو.
But all our thoughts of long, easy lives went away real quick when we got our first look at old King Titan. Once we'd seen King Titan, we knew people weren't ever going to be in charge of a world with monsters that size stomping around.
انا اشهد.
Your old man got his war wagon in gear and kept his foot on the gas until we were back inside the city walls.
Must have been huge if it scared Dad.
We'd never seen anything
جايتهم
like
من
it.
مركب.
Before we got back to camp, Santiago pulled over and made me swear not to tell anyone yet. He wanted time to come up with a new secret weapon, something big enough to go toe-to-toe with that Titan. I just nodded along and smiled, even though I knew we were all done for. Santiago picked a funny place to park and run his war plan by me on our way back to camp. I pointed out the flowers by the fountain and told him the Beast Queen, Mei Yin, had been leaving him in memory of Diana.
عرفت سالفة الورود عند
That
النافورة؟
was when he told me he missed Diana himself. Even though they'd been on opposite sides of the last World War, the big guy seemed to have some real deep feelings after all.
Wait, they knew each other in their first life?
Yeah, kid. It almost seems like some people are meant to meet up again.
كانوا ضد
Been
بعض.
thinking, maybe we're all here on this new world today for some reason like that.
Dad does always say, every day's another chance to do better. So, what was Dad's secret weapon to beat the Titan?
Well, he used all the scrap and tech we salvaged to build these skyscraper-sized battle bots. He called them mechs. And it turned out Santiago was one of the people best suited to fight inside those things, along with Mei Yin and, surprise, surprise, Diana.
ديانا.
Diana got brought back again? How?
To make a long, confusing story short, Little Miss Prof became all superpowered using the Ark tech and decided to, Santiago called it, respawn Diana for one last hell of a fight. And so, with the band back together again at the very end, how could we lose? It was game on.
So it worked? You really did it?
I did have a little.
سفن الارك بدأت تنزل على الارض.
Actually, your dad. Well, he paid the big price to save everyone.
You mean he died?
مات سانتياغو.
That's right, kid. as much as I like to take credit, your dad's the bona fide hero here. The real deal. When the chips were down and things looked real bad, Santiago never gave an inch.
فحل.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he's kind of the strong, silent type. No Jimmy Cagney, that's for sure.
All these secrets. Why couldn't he just tell me?
Well, that's just the thing, kid. Nobody knows why we're all here now on this new world. When
أنا
we were
أعلمكم
there
وش يقصدون
before
بالعالم
on Earth.
الجديد.
I think, well, I better not tell you my crackpot ideas. But your dad's been trying to protect you until we figure out what the heck's going on here. Anyhow, those are the kind of tough calls a chief's gotta make.
I wish you'd have been chief instead. You might have let me use tech to bring my mom back.
Ah, kid, I didn't know your mom, but your dad,
روكويل صغير.
I'm sure he knows what she'd have wanted.
You knew my mom, dummy. Diana.
هذه الصدمة، شو الصدمة؟
Oh, wow.
And I'm gonna bring her back. You'll see. I'm gonna find a way. No matter what.
صراحة يعني أفضل طريقة تشرح قصة آرك بالطريقة هذه، مختصرة وبسيطة والجميع يفهمها. طبعا في بعض النقاط صعب ان الواحد يفهمها، راح اعيدها الان، لكن انا ما حبيت اتكلم كثير ولا اوقف المقطع علشان ما اقروشكم اثناء المشاهدة. اول شيء تشوفون المكان اللي فيه الكامب فاير والباراسور وجالسين يسولفون فيه اللي هو العم بوب مع ميكا. هذه يا جماعة الارض الجديدة او الكوكب الجديد اللي نزلت عليه سفينة جينيسيس 2 او تحطمت فوقه، خلينا نقول بعد احداث جينيسيس 2. والكوكب الجديد سموه آرات. حلو، عرفنا ان اسم الكوكب آرات وكوكب فضائيين، لكن البشر هم اللي غزوه وجابوا معهم الديناصورات. حلو. طبعا الان ميكا عرفنا انها بنت سانتياغو وبنت ديانا، وسانتياغو وديانا كانوا تبع المنظمتين اللي كانت تتحارب وسببت هذا التلوث والإبادة الجماعية اللي حصلت في كوكب الأرض. واضح؟ بعدين اكتشفنا انه كانوا على علاقة وجابوا هذه البنت ميكا قبل ينتهي العالم او كوكب الأرض. طبعا ميكا كانت موجودة على سفينة جينيسيس 2 عشان كذا نزلت معهم على الكوكب الجديد، لكن ما كانت موجودة هي حية، لا كانت ميتة ورسبنت من جديد هي وسانتياغو، مثل ما شفنا سانتياغو بالمقطع السينمائي في آخر جينيسيس 2، ومثل ما تشوفون وهو يرسبن. الآن خلونا نتكلم عن العم بوب. العم بوب هو زي ما تقولون جندي أو شخصيته جندي، كان عايش بالحرب العالمية الثانية، يعني شايف هتلر وشكله ميت بالحرب العالمية الثانية، لكن أخذوا الرقاقة اللي برأسه وزرعوه في سفن الآرك ورسبا بخريطة الجزيرة. بعدين هو ما كان معهم يا جماعة، هو يقص القصة على ميكا على أنه عايش الأجواء وكان معهم بالحقيقة، لكن هو كذاب. هو مثلنا حنا كلاعبين كان يتبع خطى هيلينا ويقرأ ملاحظات هيلينا وملاحظات الناجين الثانيين ويقاتل البوسات لحد ما وصل الكوكب الجديد بعد جينيسيس 2. فالآن اللي يثبت لنا انه ما كان معهم فعلا تلك الاحداث، لان مثل ما تشوفون الان قابل شكل هيلينا بالهومودايس. طبعا تعرفون هيلينا بالهومودايس اللي تجينا اول مرة رسبن بالشكل الشفاف هذا، متى تحولت هيلينا لهذا الشكل؟ تحولت بعد احداث اكستنشن. يعني هو الان شاف هيلينا بالهومودايس، معناته انه هو ناجي مثلنا، لكنه حب يقص القصة بمنظوره اللي فهمها من النوتات الميكا علشان تفهمها. طبعا مثل ما تشوفون يقول أنا من عام 1944 اللي هو العم بوب، لكن الأهم يا شباب البوب تيل، قصص البوب تيل سكبوا قصة الجزيرة لأنها غير مهمة، وركزوا على قصة آبريشن الصحراء وآبريشن واكستنشن، لكن المفصل في قصة آرك هي آبريشن. حلو. الآن يا شباب اللي أبيكم تشوفون أو تلاحظون في المقطع وتقدرون ترجعون تشوفونه، انه اعتقد ان مقبلين على عدو او يعني شخصية شريرة راح تطلع في عالم آرك 2 اللي هي ميكا. ليش ميكا انا اعتبرها راح تكون شريرة؟ لان عندها نفس الفضول، فضول الروكويل، انه ودها تكتشف ودها ترجع امها ديانا غصب حتى باستخدام التقنية، مع ان ابوها رافض الشيء هذا. الان مثل ما تشوفون عرفونا على شخصية مي في آبريشن، مع انها كانت معهم في الجزيرة ما جابوا طاريها اللي هي ملكة الوحش، لانها غير مهمة قصة الحقيقة في الجزيرة. هي قصة المفصلية بعد ما انتقلت معهم الى آبريشن. طبعا هيلينا والروكويل والعم بوب انتقلوا للصحراء، لكن مي انتقلت مع عدوها الروماني مباشرة لآبريشن وقتلته في سطح آبريشن، وبعدها تعرفت على ديانا مثل ما شفنا في هذه القصة. طبعا يعني مثل ما تشوفون الآن هيلينا ومي كانوا يعرفون بعض، لكن ديانا ومي تعرفوا على بعض في آبريشن. واضحة جدا القصة. الآن في يعني أجزاء بالقصة وفي نقاط مرة حاسمة. ليش مثلا سانتياغو يكره التقنية؟ ليش يكسر التكنولوجيا؟ ليش يمنع بنته من التكنولوجيا؟ هذه إجاباتها كلها عندي، لكن تحتاج مقطع آخر علشان أوريكم وش هذا بالإثباتات. لكن هذه القصة الآن توقفت يا شباب بعد ما اقتلوا أو تمكنوا أنهم يقتلون الكينج تايتن، طبعا بمساعدة مين؟ مساعدة الهومودايوس أو الشكل الشفاف من هيلينا. طبعا من اللي قتله؟ اللي قتله هو العم بوب أو الناجي لهم حنا بعد ما قتلناه. كيف السؤال، كيف الروكويل بعد ما نقتله في آبريشن نحصله في جينيسيس؟ هذه راح تكون إجابتها في خريطة اللي هي لوست كولوني أو مدينة آرات برايم القادمة بعد أسبوع. لكن في تيزر وضح لنا مباشرة كيف جاء الروكويل، وفي أشياء مرة يعني تسربت للخريطة. إذا كنتم حابين أني أترجمها لكم ونزل لها مقطع خاص مع سبب كره سانتياغو للتكنولوجيا، ادعمونا باللايك لهذا المقطع، وابشروا باذن الله مقطع اخر راح اوريكم هذه التفاصيل كلها كامله. وبكذا نختم قولنا سبحانك الله وبحمدك، اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. كما معكم أصايل، اراكم باذن الله مقطع اخر، في امان الله.